Well, many thanks indeed for staying with us here on the Morning Brief. Let's turn our attention now to something else, and that is indeed very essential for every Nigerian. It's Nigeria's health space or landscape. So the resident doctors nationwide, they began their strike, 7-day strike, I should say, yesterday, Monday. Today is day 2. The man at the apex of that body joins us live on the program, Dr. George Ebong, Chairman, Association of Resident Doctors, FCT, joins us live on the program. Dr. George, thank you so much for agreeing to talk to us here on the program. So let me start by asking you perhaps what the update is, because the Minister of State for Health, Dr. Isaac Salako, was on our sister program yesterday, Sunrise Daily, and he said there was an ongoing conversation between your body, your association, and the federal government. So where exactly are we at this time in terms of that conversation? Was there ever a meeting at all?
Good morning. So let me just make a little correction. This is not the national body. The national body has its president, Dr. Tokwe Zenith. But we are the Association of Resident Doctors, FCTA. We are under the minister of the FCT. So we are a section of the national body. So we are on strike. That is, we that work for the FCTA are not the national body at the moment.
Yes, so go ahead and answer the question, Dr. Ebong. So confirm for us if perhaps there was ever any meeting yesterday, because I referred to the fact that the Minister of State for Health, Dr. Salako, had mentioned that there were ongoing talks.
Okay, so it's possible there was an ongoing talk between the Minister of Health and the national body, but we don't represent the national body. We represent the district and general hospitals in FCTA and not the national body. So I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
Okay. We understand that. Just wanted to confirm that from your end, your own association, that there was never a meeting. Just before perhaps we even mention some of the concerns that you have raised, your body has raised, a number of them, almost 10 or 12 demands you have made. Right. I just want to take you up on the fact that you have been quoted as saying that you had engaged with relevant stakeholders before taking this decision to go on a warning strike, a 7-day warning strike.
Yes.
I would like you to walk us through those agencies, mention their names. Which of those relevant agencies or stakeholders did you engage with before taking this decision?
Okay, so we've had several meetings with the acting DG of the Health Management Board for the FCTA. We've had several meetings with the Mandate Secretary. We've had several meetings with the late head of service who just passed. We've had several meetings with the Permanent Secretary Health. And of course, we've had meetings with some of the officials in the minister's office as well.
All right, so let's talk about all of the concerns. I decided to call it like sundry concerns, why this action had to take place. So you walk us through what are the major things you are looking out for as far as resolution is concerned, because strike is almost a recurrent decimal within our climb. Perhaps it's only the only way government pays attention. But so far, so good. As far as these demands are concerned, what are the major demands you're making on the authorities that you're directly under? And what can be done, at least to a large extent, to move the needle for you to begin to reconsider your position? Else, this warning may even become indefinite. I guess that's the direction.
That's correct. Thank you. So we sent them the demands. We've sent them these demands repeatedly. This one that just came up is still the same thing we've sent them before. One, immediate employment. We have been contending with chronic shortages of manpower for a long time. And like I said before, we have a doctor seeing more than 30 patients, 40 patients. We have a doctor doing 7, 8, 9, 10 cesarean sections. We have a doctor working at different hospitals. For example, a doctor can work, let's say, at Nyanya Hospital in the morning and take a call at Asokoro Hospital, for example, in the evening. Or you have a doctor working in the same hospital who is on call in different departments, okay? Just one doctor alone. So we've been having these issues for a long time. And then we're saying that we cannot continue to do this because it's affecting the mental health care of the doctors. We have doctors who are on antidepressants. We have doctors who are on antihypertensives. And it's continued over and over again. So the immediate employment is very paramount right now. We can't even choose to call off the strike if we don't have an assurance or if we don't have immediate employment right now. And then we have cases of salaries being owed, arrears being owed for 1 year, 2 years, and it's become a recurrent culture where a doctor works and then he's not paid or she's not paid. Not just doctors alone. Doctors, nurses, pharmacists, lab scientists, physiotherapists, health workers generally. And you try to fix this problem and it doesn't just work out. So this is one of the problems that we're also facing. We have issues of promotion. Most of the health workers have not been promoted since maybe 3, 4 years ago. We have issues of skipping. Most of the doctors have not been skipped for a long time. And then we don't have house officers. And we have issues of the medical training residency funds. The funds are meant to train doctors in their various fields. And then it's not being paid. And when it's being paid in halves. Or then you also have issues of salaries that are being paid so late, and when they are paid eventually, there are deductions without explanations. So we have all these issues. Our working condition is not good. We have issues where, for example, at Wuse District Hospital, you have a situation whereby the X-ray machine has not worked for 3 years. And we have tried over and over again for them to give us one, and they will refuse to do that. We have issues of, you can go to the lab, for example, and they don't have reagent to work with. You can run some tests over the weekends. You can run some tests in the evening, and you have patients who are rushed to the emergency, and you can't even help them to get some basic things. We don't even have medications at the pharmacy. You go there, they're not even available to be used, to be prescribed to patients. So you go to the dialysis unit, for example, there are no consumables. So these are the things that have been occurring, and it's become a culture, and it's putting so much of stress on us. So we've told them that until they get these things done, within the next 6 days, it will be difficult for us to call off the strike because we need these things to be sorted out before we can work and give our patient the best health care.
All right, Dr. Ebong, let's unpack some of them. I see that we're rolling some of them on the screen so that our audience can also be able to appreciate some of the concerns you've raised. But I'd like to be specific. So let's start with 2 things I would like you to speak to. First, let's talk about manpower gap that you talked about. How many doctors are there under the FCT administration? How many do we need? Because this is the nation's capital. That's on one hand.
Right.
As far as resident doctors, how many do we have? If you have that number, how many do we need to close that gap? And the second part is, when you talk about the arrears being owed, I think you mentioned the months. In total, how much are we talking about here? So those 2 questions.
Okay, so let me start with the shortage of manpower, because in the FCTA administration, we have 14 district and general hospitals. And then we have the primary health care and the health insurance in charge. So, and in these cases, in some of the hospitals, we don't even have specialists. We don't have enough medical officers and resident doctors. So the last time that there was a calculation of how many of these we'll need, we're going to need as much as 200 or thereabouts. We don't even have anything close to that now. For example, we don't have any plastic surgeon in the whole of the hospital. The one that we had at left is not being replaced. We don't have rheumatologists. Maybe we have just one. We have like only 1 or 2 orthopedic surgeons. And the workload on those people are so many that they cannot even give their best to the patients when they need them. We don't have enough resident doctors. And right now, there is a collation of how many of these healthcare workers, especially doctors, we need in the system. The last one was about 300 to be employed, including medical officers, resident doctors, and specialists. And the last employment that was done in 2011. What we have had since 2011 has been replacement. And the replacement has been scantily done in such a way that those that have left or those that have died have not been replaceable till now. So the work burden is so much. And of course, we don't even have house officers. And these are the ones that can also help to reduce the workload, but we don't have them employed at the moment. So it's so difficult. And that is why you see a doctor having to see as many as 30 patients, 40 patients, or you see a doctor doing like 10 to 11 cesarean sections in a day, and this same doctor is going to do the clinic the following morning till the afternoon and probably go home. He's mentally drained, psychologically drained, and then he's not even giving his best to the patient. So that is very dangerous at the moment.
Absolutely, and we totally agree with you, Dr. Ebon. We must indeed commend you and your colleagues who have stayed behind, especially with the Japa syndrome. A lot of our medical practitioners, have had to leave the country. But again, remind us what the standard practice is according to the WHO, that's the World Health Organization. How many doctors to a patient again?
It should be about a doctor to like 230, 250 patients.
A doctor to 230, 250 patients?
That's correct.
What do we have in Nigeria right now in the FCT where you are?
Well, we have like a doctor to like 10,000 patients.
A doctor to like 10,000 patients. So that means that for every time perhaps there's an emergency, it doesn't even matter if someone, and that's why perhaps we have some of the kind of fatalities we experience in our medical system. But let me just ask you this question because I'm a bit concerned about how united the FCTA is and the national body, because I expect that both bodies should be in sync so they can have a common front when you face the federal government. So I wonder what perhaps the issues are.
Oh, no, we are united, okay? So the national body is the umbrella body, all right? So we are a local chapter. We report to the national body, and the national body is headed by Dr. Tokpe Zenith, who is our national president. And of course, the national body has also issued ultimatum to the federal government. But we are not under the federal government. We are under the minister of the FCT. So we are like a state body, but we are under the national body.
Yes, so we're rounding off now. So maybe in 20 seconds, what's the next line of action if this, at the expiration of this warning strike? What would be your next line of action?
There will be a reassessment by the Congress, and hopefully the dialogue, if there should be a dialogue, it's going to be meaningful. And if it's not meaningful, then the Congress will not have a choice than to impose an indefinite strike.
All right. Well, it's a fine place to anchor our conversation with you, Dr. George Ebong, Chairman, Association of Resident Doctors, FCTA. Thank you indeed for talking to us on the program, and we wish you and your team the very best as negotiations go on with the federal government.
Thank you very much.